Welcome to Faith Positive Radio with Dr. Joey Fawcett, the Christian business coaching conversation that increases your faith with greater joy at work so you love God and others more. Dr. Joey interviews Christian business professionals just like you to discover their secrets for working faith positive in a negative world. Welcome to Faith Positive Radio with Dr. Joey Fawcett.
Hey, Faith Positive Nation, Dr. Joey back with another episode of Faith Positive Radio for you. We all get a lot of email. I'm sure you get a lot of email. I get a lot of email. And it seems like when I order something online, then here come all these emails, right? They want to upsell me onto something else, or here's an email about the order is shipping. And so I can track the order right as it comes to me. Order confirmation emails. And I want to do business with these companies, but does it ever get to be a little much in your inbox? And you're trying to organize all this stuff and keep up with it and make it flow right? Yeah, me too. Well, today's guest has created the perfect way for you to hear from these brands that you want to hear from, but to read those emails in your own time when you're ready, instead of having them clog up your inbox. And he does it all in a marvelous way of serving the world in the name of Jesus Christ. So if you're ready, Faith Positive Nation, here we go. We're going to help you do what it is you want to do with all those branded emails. And I want you to meet my new friend who does an amazing job with this. If you'll go to, if you have access to a phone or something, if you're walking the dog or driving down the road, obviously don't. But on his page on our website, getpositive.today, adcaddy.com is the website. That's ADKADDY.com, adcaddy with a K.com. And so you can check it out while you're listening to this episode of Faith Positive Radio as I interview Todd Furneaux. Todd, welcome to Faith Positive Radio, man.
Thank you, Dr. Joe. I appreciate it. Great to be here.
Glad to have you on. So, yeah, Todd, every time I order something, here come 5,362 other emails right behind it, right? And they're clogging up my inbox. It's not just me. You noticed this out there in the world.
We did. There's kind of two things that we noticed. One is that, people actually want to keep up with brands that they care about, they like. So stuff like receipts and shipment notifications are very important, but if there's a new sale, a promo, some new items, or an event from, say, your favorite band, you want to know about those things. You want to keep up. But when they flow into your personal inbox and they get cluttered and unorganized, it's very difficult to do that. So then it just becomes an annoyance. And so, these brands, on the other hand, have to get their message across, and they want to share that with you to let you know what's going on. So both sides have good intent. The problem is the platform in the middle, which is currently email, is unorganized and not intended for marketing. So we're trying to change that, turn it upside down, and give somebody an alternative to where they can keep up, to your point, on their terms and on your timing when you want to. So that's kind of where it all started. But, we did a fun thing where we asked busy moms for how many unread emails do you have in your inbox? The little red dot that has the number of unreads next to your mail.
Oh, God.
Highest one we found.
Just don't ask me what mine is.
267,000 unread emails for one inbox for a busy.
Did you say 267,000?
That's exactly right. So, yeah, imagine the anxiety if you showed up to work and you had that many unreads. But, average, we're seeing 10 to 20,000 unreads. So, brands keep sending this information, and we want it, but not in that type of fashion, not unorganized in that manner. So that's the problem we set out to solve at AdCaddy.
So you set out to clean up the clutter?
That's exactly right.
Yeah. Tell us how AdCaddy works.
Yeah, so you download the app, so it's live in both app stores right now, Apple and Android. And the first thing we do is give you a new email address. So you would be potentially Dr. Joey at adcaddy.com. And now that you have this new consumer email address, you can go into your Amazon settings and change from your personal email to your new AdCaddy. And now all of those emails will flow in. You can do it for other things like Venmo, PayPal. But then as you start to use AdCaddy, you'll say you're checking out at Nike.com, or you're buying something new from Bed Bath & Beyond, or whatever it may be. As you're using the AdCaddy email, all that email now comes into our app, the AdCaddy app, and it's highly organized. And so that's kind of the first base. As you start using it, it's a fresh perspective, kind of a fresh start on the consumer-brand relationship. And as these emails flow in, we really have 6 ways in which we organize them, so you can really very quickly access the information that you want. So the first way is we organize everything by brand. So if you need to find a receipt from Gap, you can click on Gap and quickly find a receipt or a shipment notification. Then we throw all the unread emails at the top with those brands. Everything else is below. And then we start to organize by marketing, receipts, tracking, and anything that you've saved. So it becomes this very effective and organized platform. And back to the point we said, hey, there's 200,000 unread emails. We don't allow those to happen. You know, most of these are timestamped. So you as a user can control this information. So you can actually say, if I don't read this in 14 days, mark it as unread, or mark it as read, I apologize. So then it doesn't pile up in kind of this historical view. So then when you jump in, you only see the most current deals from those brands. So, you know, we call it a personally curated magazine. If you had all your favorite bands, brands, you know, newsletters in one location, it becomes this curated mall or curated magazine that you're looking through, and it's only things that you want to see. So kind of becomes fun to some degree.
It's more personalized, and these are things that I choose to see. It's not stuck in there with all these other emails that come around. And so I can go through and read all the, say, Starbucks rewards emails that I've got, right, or offers or something like that.
Yeah, or Ticketmaster, see what new players are in town or bands are coming.
Right. And I can even follow my favorite band to see where they're going to be in my geography. So where'd you get this idea? And, you know, in Faith Positive Nation, we believe the Holy Spirit's the author of all ideas, right? Yes. So how did your faith play into the creation of AdCaddy?
Yeah, so let me back up a little bit. I worked for Home Depot for 11 years, and you know, I have multiple positions. Ended as a senior merchant of power tools. So I was a buyer, launching
power tools. Oh, senior merchant of power tools. What a cool gig!
It was very cool. So I bought tools for the entire nation. It was a lot of fun, and you know, I just felt, I'd say, unsettled in knowing that I wanted to go out and continue to develop product, knowing that God had given me these gifts. And so he kept nudging at my heart, and essentially I knew I was going to kind of move on to the more entrepreneurial type adventures. I call them adventures, not ventures, because but you know,
I got it. AdCaddy, adventures. I got it.
Exactly. As we were getting into it, you know, I started a company called Savar Coolers. So it was a cooler company and another B2B company. And as I was going through those, Savar Coolers, you can check that out too. That's still live today. I just noticed that, you know, the number one way to market to people was through email. So for example, if I could offer somebody 100,000 email addresses or 100,000 Facebook followers, they're going to take those email addresses because it's a one-to-one relationship where you can communicate with your customers. And so I got this information in my head knowing that, okay, email is king when it comes to this direct-to-consumer relationship. And then, you know, when I started thinking about my own personal inbox and how email is a great thing for as a brand, but as a consumer, I'm slightly annoyed by it. I just kind of this idea came to me that, you know, we have to remove the interruption out of the personal inbox, move it into something kind of standalone and unique. And I just started getting people in my life, you know, between a developer and other folks that would come on from an operational perspective that just started help guiding me along the way. And then all of a sudden we woke up and we have the app built and we're in beta. So it was kind of fun. But I'd say one thing kind of led to the next, and God just continues to put things in my path that, you know, are sometimes, you know, ways of teaching me what is getting me ready for the next step. So it's been quite the adventure.
Wow. So you said when you were the merchant buyer for power tools for the Home Depot, that there was some, what did you say? Some
unrest.
Yeah. Just some longing within you. How did you become aware of that unrest?
Yeah, I'd say, you know, when I started to discover that, you know, beyond business, you know, if somebody said to me, what do you think an artist is? I would think canvas and, you know, acrylic painting. But, you know, I never thought of myself as a creative or an artist. And God started revealing to me that I have these talents and these skills that are gifts that he's given me between, you know, really creativity. And so kind of changing my mentality that, you know, I like to create and I want to build things. And that creativity is what the gift I've been given. You know, in the current job, you know, there was some, allowance for creativity, especially the previous job to Power Tools. But once I started looking forward and understood, once you move up the chain, you're just managing people below you, which can be great, but it wasn't necessarily geared towards my gifts. So I wanted to get into a position where I could leverage the gifts that God has given me and really, use those in an effective manner. And so for me, that was building product, that was building businesses. And so that was kind of the point in which I felt unrest. And, I think it's important to note kind of when to jump. There's sometimes that you can just say, well, I'm going to jump tomorrow. Like I feel this,
right.
Go for it. I think there's a balance of, relying on God's timing, for when you should go about doing this. And I think, it was hopefully pretty smart in making sure that as I jumped off into where I felt God was leading me, I continued to pray about and really seek wise counsel. And he provided a nice landing pad as I moved out from a very safe corporate environment into a very unsafe entrepreneurial environment.
Gotcha. So God's timing is different for everyone in that regard for the entrepreneurial pursuit. I'm really interested. It sounds like the source of your unrest was a realization for you that you are creative, that making stuff up, inventing things was really what you were all about, as opposed to more of a corporate management kind of thing.
Yeah.
How did you give expression to that? I mean, you have words to talk about it now, but I'm assuming at the time it was unrest, and so there was some pivotal moment in which you realized, hey, there's a creative part of me. Because I'm sure in Faith Positive Nation right now, there's somebody in a corporate or a management position who may have some sense of unrest, or maybe it's an emerging unrest. They don't know how to talk about it.
Yeah. Everything felt, I shouldn't say wrong, but it just didn't feel like I was in my full potential. And, as I challenged myself in different areas, whether it be start the business or do some big endurance event, these things start to stretch the way you think. And, God placed me in certain areas at different times. And my favorite prayer today and back then is always, God, show me the doors that are opening and closing, and just make that crystal clear. And continue to pray that prayer. It just helped me understand what areas that are kind of closing in my life. And that was a good chapter. It was very intentional that God had me in those positions, because the things that I learned at Home Depot are the reason, I can be successful today, or even have an attempt at success today. And so he was very intentional that the door is still open, in that previous job, and I needed to stay there for, the intended amount of time. And then over time, he kept closing those doors. And the same thing happened when I transitioned out of Home Depot into the last 2 gigs, and then again now into AdCaddy, searching for the wisdom from, prayer, but also from really strong people around me. And I'm a big believer in small groups, and, at my church here in Atlanta, they say change happens in circles, not rows. And so being is a really big deal for me, and surrounding myself with people of faith and people that, of wisdom, whether it be some mentors I have or my parents, those things have really kind of led me to what is the next step and where do I go from there. And so that prayer that I pray about opening doors and closing doors is powerful. And then exploring those doors, call it, whether they're open or closed, with people of faith that are, in my circle that know me really well, can give really honest feedback and advice. They've really helped guide me along the way. So there's this balance of, prayer, being in the Word, and then surrounding yourself with wise counsel that has served me well. And I have to continue to build upon that and, continue forward, because nothing gets easier. We talked earlier, going on my 4th child, and, still living in this startup environment. There's a lot of, uneasiness. And, I think having faith has helped me stay strong, not be anxious, and trust, really.
So when God is opening a door, what does that look like, as opposed to, say, a door that's just opening? How can you tell when God's involved in the opening of that door?
Yeah, I think sometimes we think, like, if God opens the door, it's just this gold paved path, and like everything should be easy, right?
Yeah, the light comes on, smell like, whoa, here it is.
he may be opening a door and say, here's the path you're going to go, but he doesn't promise it'll be easy. So I think there's a balance of, hey, is this path not look easy, or does this path look like it's not the intended way that God has for me? And, it is very difficult to discern those two sometimes. And I think just being open to the fact that, hey, just because there's a lot of work one way, or maybe, growth that I might have to have in order to, show up for that position or that role, doesn't mean it's the wrong one. And so that's really been the balance for me, is trying to see what that looks like and understand where, because the opposite question is, how do you know when God's closing the door? What does that look like? And there's a balance, because sometimes we think it should be easy and, no problems. But, there's been 3 or 4 times with Ag Caddy that we've run out of money. It's been a negative cash balance. And I know that, literally within a week, I'll have an investor come in, or I'll have some money essentially to refund the company. And it's a difficult proposition, but, one of the things I always think about, this is a great hymn really, is no matter how rough the seas, I will never let you drown. And so understanding that piece has really been a thing for me, that I keep repeating to myself that, hey, this isn't promised to be easy, but there is rest in Jesus. There is rest, in his love, and knowing that he's got me on the right path. But I think, peeling that back a little bit to the day-to-day, I've never really had 2 amazing days in a row. If I have a great thing that happens and I'm on this little bit of a high, the next day I know there's going to be troubles, always this balance of saying, okay, he didn't promise it was going to be easy. He just promised me rest. He promised in him, in his word, there will be, rest. And so I live in that, and I don't have anxiety because of that. I don't have stress because of that. Get stressed, but not with the direction of my life. It might just be with the situation I have to handle at that moment in time. And so that's the balance that, I continue to learn every day. And, as the stakes get bigger with family and life and work, I have to get stronger in that. And everything has to amplify up as I grow.
So what are you doing to get stronger in your faith?
So I say number one is my group. I think being in a group has been a huge deal for me every week. And, we bring our challenges and struggles, and we're studying something, whether it be a book on raising children or a book of the Bible, and we share how it applies to our life currently. So being in a group, or being surrounded by what I call wise counsel, other people of faith, as you go through the struggle of the day or the week or the year, you have people there helping and guiding you. So that to me has been the biggest thing, is surrounding myself with that, staying in prayer with my wife, and then the word.
So how'd you get into this group? Was this offered by your church, or did you guys find each other some other way?
That's a great question. So I'm lucky enough to go to a church here in Atlanta called North Point Community Church, and it's a huge church. You probably heard of Andy Stanley.
Sure.
And, it's very easy to get into a group. And so
how easy is it, Todd?
Yeah, very easy here. But if I moved to the middle of Kansas, I'm not sure how to go about getting in a group. That's something that breaks my heart, that I want to work on long term, is a way to get more people in groups, no matter where you live. But I think, if you found somebody at your local church that wanted to start a group, it doesn't have to be necessarily a formal thing. You can start a group with 1 other person, 2 other people, 3 people. I've had small groups, 3 or 4 guys that we meet every Wednesday morning at 7 a.m. for coffee. But surrounding yourself with wiser mentors that are men of faith, or women of faith that can give you good advice is very powerful.
So what qualities do you look for in these group members, this man or woman of faith who could mentor you?
Yeah, so, just to kind of close out with our current Bible study group that we have through North Point, it is people that are kind of in our same area of life, or season of life, as we call it.
Okay.
So it's other people about our same age that are working, and they have, somewhere between 1 and 4 children. And so we're all kind of in that same season of life, raising young kids and going through all of that.
So there's a special group for those with 6 to 12 children then, right? Yeah.
Exactly.
That's the crazy group of people. No.
Yeah. But I think, you know, the other times it's been somebody that's I trust and I know I can be vulnerable with and kind of
Okay.
really share what's going on.
Mhm.
So that somebody that I've known for a while, and then we'll go find my friend or his friends and we start to join a group or
Mhm.
find them at church. And so I think, you know, you kind of know these folks. And I think if you're thinking about it and say, hey, I want to start a group, you'll look
Mhm.
at people differently.
Right.
Like my wife started a Bible study for women here in our neighborhood. We have a small neighborhood of 35 homes.
Mhm.
She got, I think, 6 or 8 women to come every Tuesday morning. I still do it. So when
Mm.
you start to look at things differently, you'll find people that are in your season of life that you can surround yourself with. But it's vitally important, in my opinion.
Right. And I hear you saying that you're sharing, you're gaining wisdom, but also just that transparency and vulnerability seems to
Yeah,
give you a playing field in which you can exercise and discover some what the Holy Spirit's trying to say to you about how to grow
yeah,
ad caddy.
absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely.
So you mentioned cash flow is one of those challenges. Anybody that's ever owned a business understands that. And the 3 a.m. terrors, right?
Yeah,
You
yeah,
know, we go with the separation anxiety.
yeah.
So what are some other challenges that you have experienced with AdCaddy and maybe some of your other businesses that you can say, here's how I turned to God and my faith impacted the response to that challenge?
Yeah. So we're in a very difficult market. We are in ad tech, which is a tough one because there's only 2 people in ad tech. It's Google and Facebook. So, you know, it's
They're the
difficult
big kahunas, huh?
to get into ad tech. Very few people are funding ad tech companies.
Mhm.
So it becomes a difficult thing, but also product market fit. So we have to convince users to use a new email address. And by the way, apps are one of the hardest things for people to actually download and use.
Hmm.
So we're in this like cross section of a lot of difficult things, but I feel very passionate about the problem that we're solving here. And so we want to connect brands and consumers in a highly effective manner. And I believe we're doing that, and we're continuing to bring out more technology to help that relationship be smoother and less interruptive on both
Mhm.
sides.
Mhm.
So I think I lost my train of thought a little bit there, but
Oh, that's okay.
what was your question?
Yeah, we're talking about some other than cash flow. What are some
Oh,
challenges that
some
you
challenges.
face?
Oh, yeah.
Right,
Sorry.
right.
It's really easy to get lost on challenges. Uh,
Well, at
yeah.
least you have something to talk about, right?
Yeah, exactly. And so I think there's just this challenge of, you know, trying to build something that people want and then getting them to use it. And so as we've gone down that path, it's been, you know, 18 months. Through our beta testing, we got on, you know, a decent amount of users to use the product, and we wanted to start to change the product to make sure that it fit their needs.
Mm,
We continued to do that through 2 or 3 different pivots until we came out with what we have today, which is on the App Store. And
mm,
so we think that that's a great solution. And now we have the next challenge of how do you get the word out and let people know about this new solution that will
mm,
be effective for them and brands. So,
mm,
you know, through all of it, the thing that I just keep reminding myself is really just around, again, you know, no matter how rough the seas, I'll never let you drown. So
mm,
having that as kind of an undercurrent for my thinking and life, it just has given me rest and knowing that, hey, this may take 7 years, this may take 2 years, but it may take 20, I don't know. But we want to continue to perpetuate it, and that I just need to take another step and then another step, and that I can't worry too much about the future. I've just got to focus on the task at hand, what I need to do today, and how I can, you know, continue to perpetuate this good work that we're doing. And so
mm,
that's what I keep staying focused on. And, you know, words like courage and perseverance and endurance are the things that I look for and continually remind myself of, you know, on a
mm,
daily basis. So
mm. So,
it's tough. I mean,
yeah, it is. There are challenges for all of us out there as Christian business professionals. And as you were saying earlier, sometimes God calls us from a place that's comfortable and yet there's some unrest about it, right? To
yeah,
a place of growth, and growth always lies just beyond the edge of our comfort zone. So we
yep,
find ourselves struggling around to do that hard work, wondering why we did it, because the pull of the familiar is so strong and we want to go
yep,
right back to where we were. And for
yep,
some reason, we think that we as Christian business professionals should just have it easy. I'm following
yeah.
Jesus. It ought to be easy. I'm not quite
That's a
sure
great
why we
point.
think that when our model, our Savior, had to die for all this. Talk about
That's right.
hard, right?
Yeah,
But I love the way that you reach out and seek to share the journey, that social investment with other Christians, some of whom have been where you've been and others of whom will walk alongside you. And not just as a Christian business professional, but as a dad, as a husband, and in other ways. And I love the way that you're sharing the journey there. That's absolutely beautiful. Well, I'm ready to get rid of my cluttered up inbox. I created an extra email address, and now that one is cluttered up too, because it's just not organized the way that AdCaddy is. So tell us how we can go to adcaddy.com with a K. Adcaddy.com is the website, right? So tell us what when I pick up my iPhone or my Android, tell me what I need to do. Go to my Play Store.
Yeah, so the first thing would be go to the Play Store, the Apple Store, and essentially just download the app, and we'll walk you through setting up a new account.
Okay.
If you want more information, you go to our website, adcaddy.com, and we have some fun videos and a few other things to give you more information.
But it's easy peasy, right? I just download it, and you walk me through creating a new email address.
Yeah, it takes about 2 minutes. It's pretty quick.
Wow.
And then the best thing to start off, what we tell people, is think about anything where you have an account setting. So you may have CVS points, or you've got account settings at what I always say, PayPal, Venmo, Amazon, Uber, Lyft, places like that are constantly sending you things because you need the information that they're sending.
Right.
But now you can have a more effective and organized manner. So those like almost immediately clean up your inbox, where you have no more inbounds coming into your personal inbox. Your personal inbox becomes personal again, which is really nice.
Oh, wow. So it all goes into the app, and then when I open the app, I can deal with these.
You can deal with them and look and track. And we also have a global shipping. So there's one button that shows you any shipment from any brand. So it's kind of cool. It's like a centralized feature within the app as well.
So I don't have to open all these emails to track all these different packages. I just got one place I go and see what's being shipped to me. Oh, man, that's awesome.
And then, so once you do your account settings, that's the first easy way to stop things. You basically pick your favorite brands or bands, without the R, or brands, and then Ticketmaster, any of those locations, and give them your new email address.
Okay.
And essentially all that will start to flow in to AdCaddy. And then just a reminder, when you check out online, just make sure you use your AdCaddy email address, and you can change things like your autofill settings to use AdCaddy. And you'll notice everything will start to flow in. You'll notice your inbox a lot easier to manage, and both sides are kind of, now at peace, and it's a lot easier to manage your personal inbox and then your brand inbox. AdCaddy. So
it's like the promotions part of my Gmail account is organized for me. I love the fact that I can get all this shipping information in a global space there where I can see. That is awesome. So just pick up your phone and go to AdCaddy. You can go on your website to adcaddy.com, but just go to the Apple or Play Store and download AdCaddy. And that's a free app for us, is it, Todd?
It is, yeah. It's free for consumers. And
wow, that's incredible, man. I appreciate that. Todd Furneaux from adcaddy.com, or just, as I said, open up your Apple Store or Google Play Store. Download it right now. It doesn't cost you anything, and your life's going to get better. At least I know mine's about to get better, so I don't have to track all this stuff. The brands and bands and other such things that you're interested in. And now you know how Todd Furneaux went through that process of just being unrestful in his spirit to where now he's fulfilled in achieving the creative kind of work that the good Lord has called him to do. Todd, thank you so much for sharing your story today, man. Faith Positive Radio always wants to know from our guest about a favorite Bible verse or Bible passage through your creative journey. What's been that favorite Bible verse?
So for me, it's James. It's consider it pure joy when you go through trials of many kinds, because these trials produce perseverance. And I feel like that's applicable for me, because there's many trials in the road I'm on, and they produce perseverance, and perseverance needs to finish its work so I'm mature and complete. So it's just very applicable to this journey that I'm on, and it's always hit home for me.
I think that's James 1, 2, and 3, right?
It is. Yep.
Count it all joy. Consider it joy.
It's a difficult thing to do.
Oh, it is. It is, especially dealing with cash flow and some of these other challenges. But man, perseverance leads to that maturity, and we all want to grow in Christ likeness. So, Todd, we pray God's blessings on you, upon your amazing business with AdCaddy, upon your wife, your current 3 children, and then also we pray God's blessings upon that unborn Furneaux.
Thank you.
Pray that you have a healthy, happy baby. Little girl, is it?
The little girl. Yep.
Oh, wonderful. Well, my wife and I were blessed with 2 daughters. And so you got a lot of joy ahead of you there as a daddy.
Yes. Thank you very much.
All right. God bless you, Todd.
Thank you, Dr. Joey. Have a good one.
You too.
Thanks for listening to Faith Positive Radio, the Christian business coaching conversation that increases your faith with greater joy at work so you love God and others more. Suggest guests and ask questions when you email Dr. Joey at info@getpositive.today. And be sure to get your free gift of the 5 positive business conversations to have today coaching program at getpositive.today. Until next time, may God bless you with everything your heart can hope for and more than your mind can imagine.